Before we start with questions, I just want to address, what's going on with AT. I think first and foremost, it's absolutely unacceptable. I think as a league, as a whole, there's been so much more toxicity, racism, homophobia, straight out nonsense, hate nonsense, and it is absolutely unacceptable. Most of this coming from the online community. Most of this, in my heart of hearts, I believe, not coming from Wnba fans, Indiana Fever fans. I believe that this is, it's not acceptable. Yes, we have to continue to protect our players. We've got to continue to support our players in our league. We get to play a basketball game. And AT was exactly right. We get to play a basketball game. And yes, that's going to come with criticism. Yes, that's going to come with fans and the love-hate relationship that they have with players and teams. That is going to come. But it's not hard to not be a jerk. And if you are one of these people that are online doing this, do not call yourself a WNBA fan. Our league is about inclusiveness. Our league is about competition. Our league is about elevating women.
Welcome back to WNBA Girls, the only place that gives you the raw, unfiltered truth about what is really happening behind the scenes in professional women's basketball. Today we are breaking down a situation that is spiraling completely out of control. If you thought the tension in the league was reaching a boiling point before, you have not seen anything yet. Stephanie White has just stepped up to the microphone, and what she said has sent absolute shockwaves through the entire sports world. This was not just a regular press conference answer. This was a direct, calculated attack. A line has been drawn in the sand, and the target is incredibly clear. It is not just about basketball anymore. It is about a specific agenda, and it is about who the league actually wants watching their games. Stick around because the unhinged truth behind this rant is going to leave you completely speechless. Before we dive into the exact words that have millions of new basketball fans furious, we have to look at the massive setup. Caitlin Clark brought an unprecedented wave of new viewership to the WNBA. We are talking about sold-out arenas across the country, shattered television ratings, and a level of mainstream hype this league has never experienced in its entire history. You would naturally think the coaches, the veteran players, and the executives would be absolutely thrilled. You would think they would welcome these millions of new fans with open arms and celebrate the growth. But instead of embracing the young player who is literally paying the bills, the narrative has violently shifted. They are turning on the very people who tuned in to support the future of the sport, and the loudest voice leading this charge right now is none other than Stephanie White.
I want to see Caitlin Clark play basketball. End of story. I don't want to be preached to. No, I'm not going away. We're not going away. You can't force people to go away. We know your lifestyle. We don't care about it. We don't want it shoved in our face.
Is what our league will continue to be about. And we will continue to compete at a high level, hold ourselves to a higher standard, continue to be on the forefront of social norms, and we will continue to support one another collectively as a league. Players, coaches, staff, support staff.
Instead of protecting the rookie who is taking brutal physical hits on the court every single night, Stephanie White decided to wrap her arms around her former player, Alyssa Thomas. Think about the message that sends for a second. Your league is getting the most worldwide attention it has ever had. Your new superstar is getting battered and targeted, and the focus is shifted entirely to protecting the veterans from online criticism. It is a staggering display of misplaced priorities that shocked the sports community. The fans noticed it immediately. The new audience, the millions of people who just want to watch fair basketball, felt the absolute rejection. They realized that the old guard does not care about the physical safety of the new stars. They only care about protecting their own established circle. And then came the press conference that changed everything. Stephanie White did not hold back. She did not try to smooth things over, calm the waters, or unite the deeply divided fan base. Instead, she went on a rant that felt significantly more like a political lecture than a post-game sports interview. She grabbed the microphone and unleashed a storm of heavy accusations aimed directly at the new fans. People who simply bought tickets and tuned in to watch Caitlin Clark shoot logo threes were suddenly being labeled, judged, and aggressively attacked. It was an unhinged moment that revealed exactly what the league's leadership truly thinks about its new audience. They do not want you to just watch the game. They want you to bow down to their specific rules.
Being inclusive of all different walks of life. That is what our league has always been about from day one.
You got 2/3 new fans. If they cared about that crap, they would have been tuned in for the last 20 years. Once again, we're back to, if you haven't always been a fan, we don't want you as a fan. This league is wild. It is wild.
Did you hear the absolute venom in her voice? Toxicity, racism, homophobia. These are incredibly heavy, destructive words to casually throw at a massive fan base that simply wants to see fair play on the basketball court. No one is denying that the internet can be a dark place, and real hate should never be tolerated by anyone. But to paint the entire new wave of Caitlin Clark supporters with this massive insulting brush is deeply dangerous. It is a highly calculated PR move. By framing any legitimate criticism of rough play as toxic hate, they completely avoid taking any responsibility for the actual physical targeting happening during the live games. They change the subject entirely. They make the fans the ultimate enemy so they do not have to admit that their veteran players are crossing the line. This is exactly where the hypocrisy becomes absolutely impossible to ignore. For nearly 3 decades, the WNBA struggled to get eyes on their product. They begged for mainstream sports attention. They desperately wanted the big network television deals, the massive corporate sponsorships, and the primetime viewing slots. Now that they finally have all of those things, thanks almost entirely to the massive Caitlin Clark effect, they are suddenly putting strict conditions on who is allowed to be a fan. Sports have always been the ultimate cultural unifier. You go to a stadium, you sit next to someone who might have completely different views than you, but for 2 hours you cheer for the same amazing plays. But Stephanie White is making it crystal clear that they do not want to be a unifier.
Everyone. We're about elevating. We are not about demeaning, demanding. We are not about continuing this narrative. It's just absolutely unacceptable.
Do not call yourself a WNBA fan. Let those specific words sink in for a moment. A highly respected head coach in a professional sports league is actively telling her paying customers to leave the building. She is explicitly telling the exact people driving the massive surge in ratings that they are not wanted. This is a business strategy that defies all logic and common sense. If you do not loudly subscribe to every single piece of their agenda, they would honestly rather play in empty gyms than take your money. It is an astonishing level of arrogance. Millions of traditional sports fans from the NFL, college football, and Major League Baseball started watching because they love witnessing athletic greatness. They love intense competition. They do not want to be aggressively lectured about social norms when they just want to see a fast break. The mainstream media's reaction to all of this drama has only poured massive amounts of gasoline on the fire. Instead of objectively looking at the extremely physical fouls committed against Caitlin Clark, or questioning why a head coach is publicly attacking her own league's fan base, the major networks chose a side immediately. They spun the national narrative to protect the veterans at all costs. They completely ignored the actual basketball context and ran wildly with the emotional, agenda-driven talking points. The fans sitting at home are watching this massive disconnect happen in real time. They see what actually happens on the court with their own eyes, and then they watch the national media directly tell them that their eyes are lying to them. It is incredibly frustrating. Coddling and cuddling. That is exactly what is happening on a national level. The massive media apparatus is working overtime to protect veteran players like Alyssa Thomas from any legitimate sports criticism, while entirely abandoning Caitlin Clark to the wolves. Have you noticed how incredibly quiet the league leadership is when Caitlin gets violently shoved to the hardwood floor? Where are the unhinged, emotional press conferences defending her physical safety? Where are the national media segments demanding respect for the incredible rookie who is single-handedly elevating the entire sport's financial status? They do not exist. There is a glaring, massive double standard, and the new fans are loudly calling it out. That is what truly angers the establishment. The new fans refuse to stay quiet. Let us talk about the cold, hard financial reality that Stephanie White and the league executives seem to be completely ignoring right now. Before this historic season, the viewership numbers and ticket sales were absolutely nowhere near what they are today. The massive spike in league revenue, the sold-out merchandise in every city, the the desperately needed increased charter flights, all of this is currently funded by the very fans they are actively attacking. You simply cannot demand all the financial benefits of a massive mainstream audience while simultaneously treating that exact audience with absolute contempt and hostility. The fans ultimately hold all the power. If they decide to tune out, those massive ratings will disappear in an instant. This right here is the absolute breaking point for the loyal fans. They are completely exhausted. They are tired of the endless off-court drama, the heavy politics, and the constant nagging feeling that they are being treated as the villains just for wanting to watch their favorite players compete in a fair, safe environment. The massive frustration is boiling over into genuine demands for blockbuster trades. People desperately want Caitlin Clark out of this highly toxic environment. They want her on a team or in a system that actually appreciates the incredible value she brings to the table instead of treating her massive worldwide popularity like a heavy burden. When your paying audience is begging your star player to leave for her own peace of mind, your organization is failing. The truly sad truth about this entire fiasco is that this situation was entirely avoidable from day one. All the league leadership had to do was focus strictly on the game of basketball. All they had to do was protect all the players on the court equally, ensure the referees called the games fairly, and let the incredible athletic talent of these women speak for itself on the national stage. But the powerful urge to preach was simply just too strong to resist. The desire to turn a professional sports league into a daily political battleground was far too tempting for people like Stephanie White. They have aggressively drawn a massive damaging wedge right down the exact middle of their newly acquired fan base. They are purposefully alienating the conservative fans, the moderate fans, and the millions of pure sports fans who simply do not care about identity politics when the fourth quarter shot clock is winding down. These fans tune in to escape the heavy realities of the real world. They tune in for the thrill of the game, the unbelievable buzzer beaters, and the pure joy of athletic competition. By constantly forcing off-court agendas down their throats, the WNBA is actively burning the very bridge that Caitlin Clark brilliantly built for them. It is a stunning display of self-sabotage that sports historians will study for decades. You do not bite the hand that feeds you, but right now, the WNBA is trying to bite the hand clean off. This is the ultimate, terrifying takeaway from this entire saga. This is the exact, unhidden message they are sending to the sports world. If you do not perfectly check their specific social boxes, you are simply not welcome in their arenas. It is a remarkably bold, incredibly dangerous gamble for a league that has historically struggled just to keep the lights on and stay relevant. Stephanie White's unhinged, emotional rant will undoubtedly go down in sports history, not as a brave moment of strong leadership, but as the exact moment the WNBA explicitly told millions of willing, paying supporters to turn off their televisions forever. We are witnessing a critical, defining turning point in the history of sports entertainment. The fans are waking up, and they are flat out refusing to be silenced by aggressive press conference intimidation tactics. The actual game of basketball is incredibly beautiful, but the constant manufactured drama surrounding it has become incredibly ugly. Will the league survive this massive level of fan alienation? Will Caitlin Clark continue to silently endure the blatant double standards? We want to know exactly what you think about this explosive situation. Drop your thoughts in the comments below right now. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and turn on notifications. This is WNBA Girls. We will see you in the next video.